It's Local Edition. Brad Pomerantz here in San Diego County, and we are joined by Frank Merchat. He is a trustee with the MiraCosta Community College District. In 2012, the district went to the voters, which is in North San Diego County, and asked for a bond to be passed. Needed 55% of the vote. It got
54.97 or something.
Pretty much. You just barely missed it.
Yep.
4 years later, the district went to your voters with Measure MM, asked for a bond to be passed, $455 million. What happened?
And we passed at 62%.
How did you gain 8 points in 4 years? Both presidential years, years that tend to, at least in California, be more amenable to these types of bonds. What went right in 4 years to gain 8 points?
Well, I think a lot of things. To start off with, we had the opportunity to really communicate with all of the constituencies that were involved, all the way from the very north part of our district all the way to the southern part, which is pretty big, 167,000 households.
Wow.
So, but we really took our time on that piece. And I think the second piece was that the community got an opportunity to see that we really put an education plan together, put a facilities master plan together, and then map that to what our basic requirements were. And really took away all the extras and the fancy things that we might have asked for.
How much was EE asking?
It was asking for $492 million.
So you dropped it a little bit.
Well, actually, if you look at the time value of money, we actually dropped it by over a third. So we're really asked for about 70% of what we asked for in EE.
So as you were talking to your voters, and I know that there was a full court press by the proponents of MM, what were they saying to you? What were you saying back? And why is it that you were able to get an 8-point swing over the last 4 years? Did you feel it?
You know, I got an opportunity to talk with a significant number of our voters. And I think what they were most interested in is that, one, that we had done the planning that we just talked about. And second, that we had sort of scaled back some of the things that we had asked for. But I think more importantly than all of that is that they understand that education is a huge economic driver for the area that we service.
And I want to talk about that, and I remind our viewers that 1/3 of all graduates of the community college district, at least high school wise, wind up at MiraCosta.
That's right.
I mean, it's a very important institution to your region. But what made the passage of MM even more impressive, if I may say, is on the state ballot was Prop 51, which is a school construction bond. Now, the vast majority of it, $7 billion, goes to K-12 and only $2 billion goes to community college. But look, this was a crowded ballot, and I could easily see voters saying, oh, 51, yes. MM, why do I need it? They got 51.
That's right, yeah. I think there was a tremendous concern among all of us that with 17 propositions
statewide,
and that all of the local measures, as well as a very full ballot on the candidate side.
Yeah, you had a presidential race. As a side note, presidential race, Senate race, Assembly, Senate, Congress. I mean, it was jammed.
So, and it just so happens that MM comes at the very last item,
which is
on that ballot.
Brutal.
So I think that the educational piece that we did to the community was a huge winner. I think the things that we have done in terms of offering a 4-year degree now.
Yeah, I would remind our viewers, State Senator Marty Block, from this region, by the way, he's now outgoing state senator. He spearheaded the drive to allow community colleges throughout the state, at least 15 of them, to offer bachelor's, and MiraCosta got one of those pilot programs.
That's correct. And I think that you're going to see those programs expand because people really have an affordability issue. And what we're also seeing is that a huge number of high school students, You just mentioned it. A third of all high school students in our service area are now attending MiraCosta College. And they're doing that concurrent with their high school careers. Some of them are.
Oh, well, let's talk about that, because there is a new law which allows this. I'm not sure what the terminology is. There's dual enrollment
credit
and concurrent enrollment. I mean, it had been that a high school student could go to a community college and take classes there. Now, community colleges can come to the high school and actually offer classes on site. Is that happening yet in MiraCosta? I mean, the bill is very new.
It's been happening for several years now.
Oh, at MiraCosta.
We also offer those classes at Sage Creek and other high schools. So this is a huge part of what the future holds for us. Instead of taking advanced placement classes in high school, which you then have to test for to get college credit, you take this dual credit class and you get credit for your high school class as well as for a college class.
There's no AP exam. You're taking a college class right then and there.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable program. Back to 51, if I may, because 51 passed and MM passed, I'm wondering if there's a possibility that MiraCosta can leverage the passage of MM to grab some of the $51. Because often, as you know, what state programs will require is, as part of our bond, if you have matching funds, we'll let you get some of our funds, meaning out of Sacramento.
Yeah, there's a possibility of that. And I think one of the important things is that we have an administration that is very focused on finding those opportunities for us. And where possible, we certainly will take any of the funds that we have a right to.
Let's talk about what is going to be done with the bond money. $455 billion, $1 million, I should say. That's a billion would be nice.
Would be nice.
$1 million, that would be nice. What do you plan to do with it? You know, it has been 50 years since the last bond was passed. So what are you thinking?
Well, I think the great part about what we put together is in looking at the educational master plan, which really covers an area of 10 years from now, 10 years out. We followed that up with a facilities master plan to be able to support that educational plan for 10 years. What that came back with is that for the most part, we're spending probably about 80% of this money on just renovation and renewal and just doing the infrastructure needs that we have.
Upgrades, safety repairs, access, those types of items.
Et cetera. But we also have a technology piece to that as well. But then we have, for the new areas, we have things for the STEM education area, as well as life sciences and laboratories, as well as funding some of the things we do for veterans. So mostly 80%, let's clean what we have, let's redo what we have, and then about 20% of that money is for new construction.
Be honest with me. Did you expect to get 62% of the vote?
I did not.
Yeah, what did you think? You passed, but just barely? What did you think?
You know, I got to tell you, I had the opportunity to deal with a lot of the taxpayer groups who are very focused on keeping taxes as low as we possibly can. And as a fiscal conservative, I really kind of embody those same sorts of feelings. So I was incredibly excited that we passed over 55%.
His name is Frank Mershott. He is a trustee with the MiraCosta Community College District in North San Diego County. My name is Brad Pomerantz, Local Edition.